Hi, it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead, and I'm at the home of my friend Elaine, who I've been friends with since 1973. I was 17 and she was 19 years old. So we're just going to talk a little bit about our friendship. I'm going to do it like as an interview so you can get to know her too. Okay, Elaine, why don't you tell us a little bit about the things that we did when we were young and broke? Because there are lots of people that are in that situation now.
Well, we really got to know each other by phone because we talked almost 24/7. We used to stay up and talk on the phone all the time. And that's when we did our canning.
Yes.
And we used to can all night long without sleeping and watch the kids the next day. And we was too poor to go back and forth very much because we didn't have gas or the transportation.
Yeah.
And things was harder back then.
And how far apart did we live?
Big 4 miles.
4 miles, and we didn't have enough gas to get to each other's house. Gas was cheap back then. So let's talk a little bit more about the canning, because we really used to do a lot of canning. So you said that we canned like everything. Why did we do that? Why didn't we just buy it?
Well, main thing, we didn't have the money to buy it, so whatever we could get, we'd can. And canning was so much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if things was half rotten or half ripe. We cut the good part out and canned it. And I remember I used to can on a 2-burner because I didn't have a stove.
Yeah. That's when we would be doing so much talking, because canning's a really easy process, but it's time consuming. So we would literally can all night long because we would get large quantities. I remember one time I got a big break if I bought 200 pounds of sweet cherries. So I canned 200 pounds of sweet cherries. Other time, and we did windfalls all the time, like Elaine was saying. They were seconds, and we had more time than we had money, so that worked out good.
And we had friends that always give us stuff. And one lady I used to can half for her half. I used to do her canning for her because she was working.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I canned for other people. And there was some other stuff in there.
We used to do lots of baking too.
Everything was bacon. Everything was homemade. There was no pre this or pre that. When you went to the grocery store, you got your flour, your sugar, your basics, and you made everything.
Yeah, that's right. And we got pretty good at it too.
We got good at it.
Yeah.
I remember you used to raise your bread in your car.
I know, because it was warm in the car. So that would work really good. I do remember one time when I was living in a duplex that I decided to put it on the windowsill on a warm day, and the windowsill was a little bit slanted. And so after I allowed time for it to rise, I went to check it, and I was madder than a hornet because someone had stolen my bowl of dough. But in reality, it had got top heavy and had fallen out the window, luckily onto the towel. So lots of homemade bread back then. Another thing, Elaine, our kids were about the same age. And so we did a lot of things with our kids. Of course, we canned with a kid on the hip all the time until they went to bed. And then we saved up one time for a big outing, and we went to the Enchanted Forest. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
You talking about when both of us got stuck in the rabbit hole?
Yes.
We took the kids up there, and there's a rabbit hole that the kids can go through and stuff. And us being young, we figured, oh yeah, we can make it. About the time I says, I think I'm stuck, Maria goes, I think I'm stuck. But we made it out.
We made it. So we were a little bit large for going through this rabbit hole that was like underground. It looks like a log that you climbed in. And I think actually we started going in because one of the kids
One of them was
scared to go in. So we were going to show them there was nothing to be afraid of until the moment that we probably became a little bit claustrophobic.
We had been stuck with the kids because one of us was in front and one of us was behind. The kids was in the middle.
That's right. So that was pretty funny. So, Elaine, another thing that we really enjoyed, both of us, was having fish tanks. And I remember one time going to your house because you called me really late at night. I don't know, 11 or 12. Big emergency. Your angelfish was laying. Do you remember that?
I remember that, and you came out. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning by the time you come out, which my ex-husband at the time was on the road, so, I could, no problem somebody showing up. So we sat there and watched those angelfish lay the eggs.
That's right. And I was single, so I had nothing to tie me down either, so that was really fun. So you were telling me at one time you had how many fish tanks?
I used to have 10 fish tanks.
Wow. What kind of fish did you have and which did you enjoy the most?
I think the time I enjoyed the most was when you and I used to go get the guppies.
Oh, yeah.
We were so good going to get the guppies, we could tell the female was going to have the babies, bring them home and put them in separate tanks. We had hundreds of guppies, fantail guppies.
Oh, yeah, that was so great. I love that.
Platies.
Platies.
And then I had Oscars, which I'm going to have an Oscar again because each time I changed the tank, I got soaked.
And I was recently given 4 Oscars. And so I'm looking to rehome at least 2 of them. And I won't be able to keep the others too long because my tank is simply not big enough for that many. How big was your tank when you had the Oscars?
150 gallon.
150 gallons. Yeah.
I had 2 Oscars in it, bottom fish.
See, my tank is probably only about 25 gallons, so not...
Yeah, they'll probably outgrow it.
Yeah. So we really enjoyed that. And I'm going to see your fish tank right now.
Well, that's just a 10 gallon. I went super small.
Yeah, she went super small and enjoying your goldfish. Now, tell me, did you plan on the goldfish being in the house?
No, I eventually wanted to do a pond out back.
Oh, okay, that would be really fun. They would get bigger too.
I bought these 10 goldfish thinking, you buy little goldfish, half of them is going to die or something happened to them. Mm-hmm. They're all 10 alive.
Yeah. So I can tell already we're going to have to do a second interview, but I am really excited about some things that you and I are both doing. We both are gardening. Elaine and Tom have put in lots of raised beds. We'll show you that on the next one. But one thing that Elaine does is she makes many of her, or at least several of her own spice mixes. So let's go take a look at those. Okay.
I do my own taco seasoning.
Wow.
And the fajita seasoning.
All right. Oh, those look quite different.
So much different, so much better in the store. I store all my stuff in jars here, as you can see. Dry salt, baking powder. I pretty much know where everything is. And I dry onions and stuff. And this is all spices. I'm really into cooking.
Yeah. You have
Babies and stuff.
You have a Facebook page. What's that called on cooking?
You forgot already?
I know.
What you got cooking?
What you got cooking, yeah. So that's a great page if anybody wants to go on it.
And Space Saver, we use this room for my canning goods and stuff. Mm-hmm. This is how I did some of my pans because I don't have much. I come out of a larger house into a smaller house, so you learn how to work with what you've got.
Yeah, that's a great way.
So this here, My husband built this on the wall.
Oh, this
Maria
is...
really loves this.
I love this, and I really want this one day. I got to just find the right wall for it. It's just a great way to hang your pots and pans. Okay, Elaine, you and I have both our whole lives, and it started because we didn't have extra money. We would prepare in the summertime when our utility bills were lower, and that's when we were able to do all of our canning so that we could feed our families better. But we're still doing that. What's going on there?
Well, you can ahead. One thing I found out the older I got, the less I like going to the store in the wintertime. I don't have the kids at home and stuff, and come Christmas, I give them jams, jellies, salsa, peaches, pears, you name it. And this year I made blackberry syrup, cherry syrup, which turned out really good.
Ooh, I've got to
With the
try
price
that.
of syrup, going up in the store, it's like make your own. Also make your own maple syrup. I've done that for years.
Oh, you have? Okay.
I've done that for years. You just buy the maple lean and make your own syrup.
Okay. What do you add to that?
Sugar and water.
That sounds pretty easy.
Same with blackberries and cherries, just sugar and water.
So what percent, when you did like your blackberries, 1 part of blackberries to how many parts of sugar?
They were saying 1 cup to 2 cups of sugar, but I cut it back. It's just sort of like 1 to 1 and less. Just do it for taste. It'll be not as thick. It'll be
syrupy because
syrupy,
it's for pancakes or it's for ice cream, something like that. So any other reason you still like to...
It tastes better.
It tastes better.
Number 1, it's cheaper and it tastes better.
I agree. And I'm going to add another reason. During this season, we are seeing some shortages in the stores. And we don't know what's coming up ahead. Everybody has heard about this coronavirus and it keeps mutating. So things can change.
Earthquake.
An earthquake. We could have...
Power shortage, storm.
Anything could happen. Storms. We just get flat broke. We aren't able to travel. Anything could happen. So it's nice to be able to have things stockpiled so we can use them. And then, like you were saying, we can share them because there's a big blessing in that. So, Elaine, the final thing I want to do is I just want to show some of your Christmas decorations. Will that work for you?
Yeah, I cut way back.
Okay, well, let me see.
I used to do the whole house and stuff, but I've given my daughter most of my stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, you did move into a much smaller
Small
house. Yeah.
And the grandkids aren't here, and they can enjoy it better down there, so.
Yeah, I miss having my grandkids around too. So we're just going to kind of walk around and see some of these beautiful little scenes. There is sitting on top of the clock, which is a beautiful clock, by the way.
I used to have like 50 houses and a bunch more people and sceneries and stuff that I fixed up at the other house. So I've cut back to this.
It's just gorgeous, I've got to say that. It is just gorgeous. I love that they're lit. It's really pretty little scenes. How long did it take you to get this set up?
Oh, I was tinkering around, going through stuff about 4 hours because I was going through, weeding my stuff out again.
And how long do you usually leave your decorations up?
After Christmas, after the New Year, and the tree we got was from the other house, and it was too tall for this house, so we had to cut the top out, so there's no tree top.
There's no tree top, but that's
so we've got the doves.
That's really pretty, though.
It's for a long time.
Here's some festive pillows on the couch. that you've had for a long time. And this has nothing to do with Christmas, but aren't these pretty? Okay, Elaine's taller than me, so she's
stooping down.
She's stooping down. Now we look even. It's been really great interviewing you and reliving some of these memories. We'll have to do it again. She's so serious all the time. You can see why I really enjoy her. Hope you have enjoyed meeting Elaine too. And we want to pray blessings on you and yours when you're in the house, out of the house, in the day, and in the night. And whatever you do, keep dreaming.